Well, hello, Winston here, and happy Good Friday to you. Yes, happy Good Friday. I know a lot of us don't always think of it that way. We may not even think of it as being very good. If it's that day for you that's kind of just been about, walking around, kind of with the heaviness and, a quietness and just trying to soak in the weight of the cross and really revel in the sufferings of Christ in order to, feel better about Sunday. I think we ought to have a kind of a sobriety about ourselves on this day, but it's not just about feeling bad about what happened on the cross, because I think there's something much deeper and good about Good Friday that we can look at. And so that's what we're going to try and do today is we're going to look at that question. What's so good about Good Friday? Well, first, I want to turn to the New Testament, Ephesians 1, where Paul, has something to say about what happened with Christ on the cross. He says, chapter 1, verse 7, "In him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of our trespasses, according to the riches of his grace that he lavished on us. With all wisdom and insight, he has made known to us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure that he set forth in Christ, as a plan for the fullness of time, to gather up all things in him, things in heaven and things on earth." Well, he talks about redemption and forgiveness, it is at the heart of what Good Friday is about, but he even goes deeper, and he says that this event it's part of God's plan that in the fullness of time, Christ would gather up all things into himself. I think the NIV says a unity. Yeah, this or to sum up, this word in the Greek is like 19 letters long. This verb that we use to say to sum up under, it's a big word. I won't even try and say it. It's got like 10 syllables, but it's been translated as recapitulate. Right? What does that mean? That's so amazing and mysterious of an idea. Well, I think what we can do by looking at that word recapitulate and turning to Beethoven for a moment, I think we can discover a little something about what that might be. Recapitulate is an important word if you're talking about Beethoven, because he has these great symphonies, the most famous of which is number 5, and it's got that famous 4-note theme, dun 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 dun, right? This movement of of Symphony Number 5, the first movement is broken up into 3 parts: an exposition, where that movement gets played, we get to hear it for the first time, and it gets revealed in all its majesty. A development section, where that melody gets broken down and transformed and mutated and just turned out and churned out and kind of pulled apart even, and kind of turned into the kind of the chaos of dissonant chords. And at the end of this development section, we hear a single oboe line while the music kind of breathes its last breath. And then the recapitulation. This is where after the death and of everything, the chaos that happened in the development section, the instability of it all, it is recapitulated. All those ideas are brought in and given a new life, transformed and re-unveiled for us in a new and transcendent way. Minor shifts to major, right? And then at the end, we hear this just triumphant declaration, bum, 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 of what we had at the beginning. That was, in a sense, lost. This is the story of Christ in musical form. Now, I don't know if anybody's ever latched onto that before, but when I heard the word recapitulate, it brought me there. I want to turn lastly, just to end with a statement from Irenaeus of Lyon. He is an early church father, so early, in fact, that we know him to be the disciple of Polycarp, who was the disciple of the Apostle John. And so he's very near to Christ in terms of history, but I also like to think he's very near to Christ in terms of his thought because of what he's received almost directly from the inheritance of the apostles. Anyway, so what he has to say about the cross and its connection to the story of Christ from beginning, Adam and Eve in the garden, to their fall and the chaos and the destruction that ensued, to new life and a recapitulation in Christ. That what Christ does on the cross has a summing up of our whole story, the whole story of humanity is coming to a head in him and given a new life. And he says this, he says, "For by summing up in himself the whole human race from beginning to the end, he has also summed up its death. From this it is clear that the Lord suffered death in obedience to his Father upon that day on which Adam died while he disobeyed God. Now he died on the same day in which he did eat. For God said, 'In that day on which ye shall eat of it, ye shall die by death.'" So he's making that connection. He's saying that the same day that Christ died, Friday, Good Friday, it was on a Friday, right? The day before the Sabbath when man was created. It was on a Friday that man did die. And he says, the Lord, therefore, recapitulating in himself this day, underwent his sufferings upon the day preceding the Sabbath, that is, the sixth day of creation, on which day man was created, thus granting him a second creation by means of his passion, which is that creation out of death. Good Friday is not just about Christ's death. It's about our death as well. The death we all die as fallen human beings. But in that death, there is a new creation, a recapitulating of all humanity, redeemed and transformed by Christ. This is what we have to look forward to today on Good Friday, and as we look towards Easter in that fulfillment of what was done on the cross and in Christ's death, and the resurrection life that we have to look forward to, and that we can take hold of ourselves even today. So, happy Good Friday to you. Be blessed.